What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at a new Starscream card. And look, it's Starscream. Everybody loves Starscream. He's one of the fan favourites. We're gonna keep getting Starscreams. We got 2 Starscreams back in Wave 1. We got, well, to be honest, in Wave 2, Starscream was the best character. King Starscream. And then we even got a little Starscream. When I say little, I mean little. He's a diddy little 5 cost. And we got him in the Wave 2 starter set. So frankly, ladies and gentlemen, Starscream is a character that's going to keep coming back around. And we probably kind of have to accept that. But that's okay. We all like Starscream. The question is, what does this new Starscream actually do? Of course, it is War for Cybertron Seed, so the design is a little bit less fighter jet and a little bit more Cybertronian war. But if we start off having a look at the basics here, I know we did get the 5-cost Starscream, and that was cute, but that is the exception. This is a 12-star Starscream. And that's going to keep happening. Expect Starscream to always be amongst the best characters in any given expansion, and expect it to be amongst the most expensive. But then again, that does mean it's got good stats. Now, we're not impressed with a defense of 1 or 2, that's not particularly good. But health of 16 is good, that's very high. And then attack of 4 is fine, but 6 is really nice. So when you're in bot mode and you're rocking attack of 6, health of 16, you should be getting a couple really nice attacks off, and you should also be able to hang around for a little bit. There's a lot to like here. And this is a character that loves, as I like to term it, cheeky damage. The bot mode skill intrigues me greatly. When an upgrade is scrapped from an enemy, do 1 damage to that enemy. The thing is, it doesn't say how it needs to be scrapped. If any upgrade is scrapped, you get to do a damage. So that means that when you play something like ramming speed, you're also playing zap. Because you're getting rid of an upgrade with ramming speed. Oh, I've gotten rid of an upgrade. There is zap. To be fair, you do have to do the damage to the character from whom you discarded the upgrade. You cannot get rid of the upgrade from one character while doing damage to another, and that's a little bit sad. But generally speaking, this ain't bad, ladies and gentlemen. This is really nice. Now, the other thing is, and we might as well hit this at the beginning of the video, you need to be playing this in an upgrade-hating deck. You need to be playing it in a deck that is going after upgrades. Incidentally, it is scrapping upgrades, so something like Inferno that makes your opponent pick up all of the upgrades. Or in fact, if you want it in more of a battle card flavor, you've got Disarm, which does the same thing. That wouldn't count because you're not scrapping an upgrade, you're returning it to their hand. So something like Ramming Speed would be really good. If you'd prefer to be playing a bluer deck, you can use something like Vaporize, or you can use something like Bashing Shield, for instance, which is what a lot of people are playing to get rid of armor. I mean, Force Field's a phenomenal card. You need really in most decks now, if not all decks, a way to get rid of it. It's why one of the reasons why Bashing Shield sees so much play, but you've got a whole bunch of other things that you can do. But we also have a lovely little subset of upgrades that fall off at the end of the turn. Like Grenade Launcher, for instance. And if we look at the wording here, it says, when an upgrade is scrapped from an enemy. Doesn't say how it needs to be scrapped. So now, all of a sudden, your opponent plays a Grenade Launcher, and then when it falls off, you do a damage to that enemy. Or, in Wave 1, we also had Blast Shield, gives +2 defense, and when they defend, you scrap the card and they take a damage. Or we've got something like Power Punch from back in Wave 2 that gives you bold free, but after you attack, you scrap the card. And also in Wave 2, we had Evasive Maneuvers, which gave you tough free, but got scrapped at the end of the turn or when they defend. So the point is, we've got a bunch of upgrades here which are really good and see play, and you can really prey on characters that are taking advantage of this. It's really quite wonderful. Now, there is an alt mode skill here as well, and I like the alt mode skill too, although it's not going to work quite as often. When you flip to this mode, do 1 damage to an enemy that has no upgrades. Here's the thing. That's not always going to be the case. Now, there's going to be plenty of times you can find an enemy that only has 1 upgrade. And then you play a Vaporize to get rid of it. And then they take a damage because you're in bot mode. Then you flip to alt mode and they have no upgrades because you've just removed the last one. And then you do another damage. This will work. And incidentally, that is, I think, the way we have to try and go here. It has to try and be get rid of their last upgrade so they take a damage, and then immediately flip into alt mode so they take another damage. Really pile it on. I mean, at that stage, you've basically got yourself a free plasma burst. Not only is that a really good battle card, but it's one that's so good it doesn't even have any battle icons. Remember, the designers do use battle icons to balance a card, so any card that doesn't have battle icons is going to be good, and you're getting that for free. There's going to be games where your opponent just attaches too many upgrades, and that's sad. Where they're playing a tank deck and they can use something like Hunker Down to get an armor on each of their tanks, and that's going to be sad. Or maybe they're playing Megatron Arrogant Ruler, and they're attaching extra upgrades because of it. And maybe against some decks it's not going to work. But you should usually be able to find at least one of your opponent's characters with no upgrades on. Maybe in a 2-bot team you won't, but certainly in a deck that's playing 3, 4, 5 bots, there's going to be one you can get a bit of cheeky damage on here. And then this leads us to the traits here. It is a range character. And if you want to be doing extra cheeky damage, ranged is great. Because you've got Armed Hovercraft, pop it on a ranged character, do 1 damage to each enemy. You've got Marksmanship. As long as you've got a ranged character on the field, you do 2 damage to a character or an enemy in bot mode. And then, of course, it's not cheeky damage per se, but because you're a plane, you can take advantage of Bombing Run, which you choose an enemy character and move 1 damage from each of your planes to that enemy. Maybe you can even take advantage of that after a Photon Bomb, which is more extra cheeky damage. The point is, if you're doing the extra damage with Starscream, you can really start taking advantage of that. And then, in terms of partners, I've got 2 thoughts for this. On the one hand, we can just exacerbate the cheeky damage. And back in Wave 1, Decepticon planes were really good at cheeky damage. Thundercracker is an 8 cost, whereby when you flip it into alt mode, you do 2 damage to a melee enemy. Well, that's actually really good, because that puts you up to 20 stars, and then you can go for a 5-star character. Maybe even the 5-star Starscream. It's not amazing, but you know, you got 5 stars, why not play with a 5-star Starscream? Or indeed, you've got the other Starscream from Wave 1. Well, there were 2, but the one I like most, Air Commander. When you flip it into alt mode, you do damage to an enemy equal to the number of other planes you have. Problem is, that will put you at 23 stars, so you will only have 1 other plane. But still, you're doing a damage when you flip into alt mode just like this other Starscream is. Or the other option you've got here is to play into the whole upgrade thing. So maybe you play something like Megatron Decepticon Leader, whereby when you flick it into alt mode, you can scrap a card from your hand, and if you do, you scrap an enemy upgrade, which of course does 1 damage to them, which is kind of cool. There are a couple different ways you can go. That's what I really like about this Starscream. You can go for the whole full-on hate for upgrades and get the cheeky damage as a bonus, or you can just go full-on cheeky damage, which, I mean, that's how I go, but you guys know by now I like playing kind of aggressively and going for the cheeky damage. It's the way I'm wired, ladies and gentlemen, and I make no apologies. And the thing is, I actually quite like the idea of using the 5-star Starscream here, because of course, Starscream has his own upgrade. So you've got Null Ray of Starscream here, which gives you Bold 2, and by you I mean only Starscream, and +1 attack, which is kind of cool. And if you're playing this with something like Thundercracker and the 5-star Starscream, you can put it onto 2 characters. Or the one annoying thing as we finish the video here, Starscream Air Commander was a leader. And Starscream Scheming Second in Command was a leader. And Starscream Decepticon King was a leader. Now, the starter deck 1 Decepticon Lieutenant wasn't, but it was a 5-star, so I forgive him. This isn't a leader, which is actually really annoying because we just had Callous Leadership revealed, which would allow you to move 5 damage from a Decepticon leader with 8 stars or more to one of your other characters, which would be great with this because you've got a health of 16 and you can be moving 5 damage elsewhere. It would be great. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that's not an option we have. This isn't a leader, which I find a little bit strange. The thing is, you've got really good stats, and you've got 2 really good skills, both of which do a little bit of cheeky damage. I do have to ask the question whether we're going to play this instead of Starscream Decepticon King. But then I go, well, hang on a second, that's a 13-star. Maybe we just go double Starscream and these are the 2 we choose. Certainly these are the 2 Starscream I want to play around with. As much as I like Air Commander, I think Decepticon King may be the better partner. But I'd like to know what you think, ladies and gentlemen, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, you know the deal. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about games like Transformers and a whole bunch of others. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.